Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. This is Recruiting Intel. Thank you so much for watching. We get all the recruiting intel you can handle over at Inside Texas, so come make sure you join. Use that first link in our description. Use that QR code at the top left of the screen. Join for just $1. Then you'll get 50% off your first year. So, hey, you join right now, you get the price of Inside Texas for half off plus $1. That'll get you all the way to this time next year when the 2028 class will be going through its own silly season. Probably maybe be talking about some different quarterback things. Lots of stuff going on. And, of course, it'll be in SEC Media Days this time next year. So come check us out. Use that first link in our description or use the QR code at the top left of the screen. And as I try to get the normal overlay back on, Justin, Rivals updated their recruiting rankings yesterday. Rivals has their internal rankings. Team is overseen by Charles Power. And Texas, 2 guys in the top 10 still, but the highest ranked commit for the Longhorns is no longer on the defensive side of the ball, but is now on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think they flipped spots.
I think that almost exactly. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think they flipped spots. And I think it came from the battle Royal and Meredith had on the field and during camps and at practices. I mean, there was a lot of tape there of them two battling each other to be able to, flip the positioning.
I know where you're getting at. I'm not going to totally discount camps and stuff like that because
these two people have never met each other a day in their life. But it's funny how I'm wondering how they flip. What was the criteria?
I think the reason Royal moved up with Rivals, I think he was previously number 8. Now he's number 3. It's the top left grade, so you can see the Rivals industry ranking. Yeah. That has him as number 6, but I have this sorted by the Rivals ranking. That has Royal at number 3. I think him, as you were able to witness in person, tearing up the track at 6 foot 205, maybe changed what some of the thoughts on his athletic evaluation was. And yeah, it's underwear Olympics, but it's what we got. And I think he had a really, really good outing at the opening that helped him. And the thing about this is, like, you can see Rivals graded him as a 98. As we get to John Meredith, guess who's also a 98? Like, you have to put them in order if you're going to make a list. But as far as the,
you have to rearrange them about every 4 months,
right? But as far as the prospect evaluation goes, John Meredith goes from number 2 overall prospect to number 8, still behind Jalen Brewster in state. He remained number 1 overall, but number 3 at cornerback, and I think it was Joshua Dobson, and maybe one more. I'll have to double check that. But still, John Meredith ranked as one of the highest, the best cornerbacks in the country still.
Yeah, I mean, that's the industry ranking is the one that I'm going to base mine off of, because that's the collaborative effort, and we've seen some stuff on our side of it that just doesn't make any sense. So I love that. I love the industry ranking, and
yeah,
I mean we're looking at the little. We're basically picking nits at this point. It's like, hey, this guy's number 3, this guy's number 7, this guy's number 4, this guy's number 3. This is the way I look at it. Texas has 2 of the top 10 players in the country committed to him. They're in the mix for a handful of other guys that are also in this top 25, top 30 upper echelon. Texas is doing really well. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think that they would make the push they did this summer. I really thought that this would drag out because they are a Sark does play the long game. I know we say that a lot, but I mean, it's just the style that they adhere to. And so, yeah, Meredith and Royal flipping spots. What's funny is they'll flip spots again, probably 2 or 3 more times before the end of this cycle is even finished. And but the truth is, they will both remain 5 stars throughout their high school career.
That's what I'm thinking too. And speaking of uncommitted 5 stars, Monson Sales, I think, is the only player within the top 10. I think he was number 7, so 1 spot ahead of John Meredith. Charlie just had an update over on Inside Texas about Monson Sales as his decision. It's creeping up this Friday. Texas has had a good track record with the Pat McAfee show. We will see if that continues. Justin, good news. Ismail Kamara moved up one spot in Rivals rankings from number 33 to number 34. Bad news. Is an interior offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's not good news. Until this man is number 1 overall, what are we doing here? We're just playing on a computer and a keyboard every day, it seems. Ismail Kamara is a freak. Like, I was saying this kid's number 1 prospect a year ago, before he was committed anywhere, before he was doing anything. This dude is different. 28, you are slapping him. You are literally walking up to this young man and slapping his face with that 28th ranking. I'm talking to you, Cody Belair. I love you. You too, Charles Power. I love you too. But my God, this kid's almost 6'7", 335 pounds, and they still have him on the interior offensive line. You know when he'll play the interior offensive line? On Madden. He ain't doing it in real life. He ain't doing it on the field. This is a franchise left tackle. They moved him up a spot. It's not enough. There's not 27 players better than him in the high school football. There's just potentially in high school football. There's just not.
Like I said, Rivals has him at 33. Why is he listed as an interior offensive lineman? Justin, you talked about this. It's what people can and can't see, and that's why you being in East Texas gives us a lot of benefit here.
So when he was first listed, he was, when he first moved over here, he was about 6'4" to 380 pounds. Okay. That's a guard. 6'4", 380, buddy. You're in the interior offensive line or in the interior defensive line. You ain't playing on the outside. But he's grown and he's gotten bigger and he's gone to camps and he's gone to all these things. He's been measured. He's grown, and his body has been reshaped. He's no longer the shape of an interior lineman. He is what a beautiful left tackle looks like. And so that's why he was still listed as an interior lineman. Honestly, too, I think it's kind of just being stubborn at this point, because he's never – you can't find one snap of him playing guard in his life. He's never played the interior offensive lineman in his life. But I think at this point, I think Rivals and On 3 is just being really stubborn. And they're like, look, we've had him here at interior offensive line, and despite all the body changes and despite where he plays and despite all this other stuff, we're just going to keep him here. I know I lament a little too much on it, but it just seems silly to me. It seems too obvious to me. It's like looking at a wide receiver, a skinny, tall, fast kid, and going, he's probably a tight end. Monshun Sales is probably a tight end. It's like, wait a minute, but he's never played tight end. I know, but man, we've had him at tight end, so let's just why change it? He's probably a tight end. I think it's silliness like that, and that's why we get to talk about these rankings, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes the debate fun, because it's a lot of silliness. It really is, and I love Pete Nako's article yesterday talking about how recruiting rankings can have effects on NIL. And that's something else for Kamara. Luckily, the University of Texas is paying him like an offensive tackle and not an interior offensive lineman.
We'll keep going. This is a really nice jump for our guy, Cameron Hall. I found the most recent Rivals 300 before this. So before, he was listed as a defensive or as an edge. Yeah. He was the number 185 overall prospect. They are now listing him as a defensive lineman, which I think we've talked about plenty as being part of the evaluation. Yeah. Now he's the number 119 overall prospect. Lots of networks are pretty darn high on him, and he's almost about to crack the top 100 in the industry ranking.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Listen, you know what 2027's class is going to remind me of? This is the class where Texas killed it in these early evals. Cam Hall, my goodness, they were Alan Clark was really ahead of his time on this one. I get a Taquan Graham vibe out of this kid just by seeing how his body's matured. Is he a D lineman or is he an edge? Well, technically he's both. He's a defensive end. I know you don't hear that very often, but, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, we had defensive ends in football, and that's what Cam Hall essentially is. He'll play in a spot that's similar to Lance Jackson because he's 250 now. He'll be 280, 290 by the time he gets ready to play football for Texas, if not bigger. Especially if he gets any bigger than that, he'll be more of an Alfred Collins. You'll have to slide him inside. But Cam Hall is a kid that has steady been a riser, and I think Alan Clark and the recruiting staff at Texas, their player personnel deserves a lot of credit for him because they were in him on early and often, and they got him in the boat quick.
Before we keep going, hear a word from Rhoback, RHOBACK.com. Go there right now and use that code INSIDE20. That'll get you 20% off for all new customers. They've got great athleisure apparel. They've even got some chinos or chino-looking pants, got some jackets, a bunch of different collared shirts, including Longhorn gear. So come check it out, Rhoback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use that code INSIDE20. They may not be chinos, but they're kind of like golf pants, that type of active long sleeve, long leg pants. Go check that out. Kasai Curry.
Like joggers?
They have those too.
Joggers?
I'm not talking about joggers, but they do have those too. And I've got a pair that I wear pretty often. Kasai Curry, a very, very small drop. He goes from number 119 to number 135. Again, that's not too much of a big difference. Still ranked as a 92 or rated as a 92 by Rivals. Somewhat splitting hairs. The Rivals industry ranking still has him as a number 64 overall prospect. Seems okay. Any big takeaways on Curry making a other than that one?
You know what's funny, Joe? You and I are out in the field. Okay. These other guys they're not as much. You know how many times we get parents and coaches that ask us, why did so-and-so get dropped? Why did so-and-so jump up the rankings? I mean, I get that all the time. And I've jokingly said this before. If your kid moved up, it's because I suggested it. I said something to him. I pounded the table in the room. If your kid drops, I had nothing to do with it. It is over my head. I can't make any of these decisions. It's just, I know it's silly. I know we've already kind of, laughed about it a little bit, but Curry is still a top 100 kid. I mean, come on, man. Let's not overthink this. Just because he took the wrong turn, headed to LSU and wound up in Austin, Texas, and then all of a sudden he's a Longhorn commit. Yeah, I could see Kasai is going to stay in that range. I think he's in that 80-90 overall type range. I think he's the staple for this interior defensive line. I think he's your 3 tech. I think this kid's going to see some rotational snaps in probably 24 months. And so I love Curry. I love the take. I love how quick and fast it happened, and I love that actual Marcus Fakatau was actually surprised that he committed to Texas.
Brock Williams, another instance of a small drop, goes from 122 to 159. He does lose a rating point, but still ranked within the top 100. And I think even now at 98 in the Rivals industry ranking, I'd have to double check. I think he would still hold on as the highest rated tight end that Steve Sarkisian and company have brought in. Remember, Jatavian Sanders, athlete, also not signed by Sarkisian. He would be just behind Townsend because Townsend ended at number 93. Townsend was number 5 tight end, while Williams is number 4 tight end in the industry ranking. A minor drop for Williams. Again, we can go over and over about it, but not anything all that drastic.
I think what we can mention now is we can kill the myth of the Texas Longhorns commitment bump. I think we can kill that myth.
Correct. I'm with you.
Every time these kids commit to Texas, their stock drops.
We keep on moving. Brandon Sherrard.
This is one that went up, though. He got the recruiting bump.
I think he actually dropped a single spot.
Oh, he did drop one. I thought he stayed. I thought he was the same.
For Rivals. Number 202 seems about right. I don't think there's any
no.
Big.
Man, he's that stereotypical long-legged, long-limbed outside corner, man, that NFL just loves.
Now, this next one is the one that you wrote about. We're excited to talk about. Kyron Brown went from outside the top 300 for Rivals, probably in the 3-star range, to now is the number 200. To now is the number 205 overall prospect in the country, according to Rivals. Big discrepancy between Rivals and the other 2 networks with how they view Brown. And you know what? When you combine that athleticism, this is a case where, the eye in the sky is available. There's huddle to see people in Amarillo. Called you the other week about how I just drove by Tascosa. But Kyron Brown now is the number 205 overall prospect. Huge bump for him.
It is, man. We were joking, but one of the coolest things that happened yesterday was Kyron Brown he had no idea about these rankings bumps. He had no clue. Okay. And the funniest thing is, a lot of kids pay attention to this stuff. A lot of them don't. Kyron Brown is not a kid that pays attention to this kind of stuff. He just doesn't. He is keeps his head down, works hard. He was so thankful to get the invite to the Texas camp. Then he performs well. Then he gets offered. I mean, this kid had one hell of a June. I can't remember a guy having a better month than Kyron Brown. From 796 to 205. It was the biggest jump that we had, period. That's the biggest jump I've seen since we've been doing this. He was so excited. And it was the first thing he told me? I got to go back to work. I got to stay humble, man. This doesn't matter. I really do have to go back to work and get better at stuff. And I'm like, that's why Chris Jackson fell in love with you. That's why Steve Sarkisian said, hey, wave this guy in. This guy's a take. You look at and if you look at his tape, he's wide receiver. He's safety. He's linebacker. He's kick returner. He's doing a little bit of everything. He is your stereotypical football player that just so happens to be a pretty good prospect at catching passes. And when you're in a class with Easton Royal and Bryson Thrower, you're not always going to get the same kind of love. But I got to tell you, man, he's creeping up on those guys.
We got a little bit of the full gamut here. We go from some guy who doesn't change at all in Brandon Sherrard, someone who gets a huge bump after Texas identifies and offers him. Then we got someone who makes a minor drop. That's Brian Swanson. He goes from, I will tell you in just a second. He goes from outside. Okay, I take that back. He goes from outside the Rivals 300 to that number 224 spot. However, he's being ranked as an interior offensive lineman. That 6'5", 315 listing, that's pretty close to accurate. I don't know what they are seeing. We understand Swanson has versatility, but man, his first crack is at the apple is going to be a tackle.
Yeah, I think there's a pattern there. I really do. And nothing against the guys, but I think if they're over a certain weight, they just designate them as a guard or as a center. All right, man, if this kid weighs over 310, then he has to play guard because that's kind of their pattern here. If you're skinny and you're skinny and tall, that's a tackle. But if you've got any sort of muscle or weight or anything, we'll just put you. Brian Swanson is not an interior offensive lineman. He's
not doing that for South Oak Cliff. No, especially not this year.
No, he's a right tackle at Texas next year. Like that. But and that's the fun thing about this, Joe, is we get to argue and banter and go back and forth, and we get to teach the fans because the fans will come on the show and on the board and they'll read this and they'll be completely confused because we've been talking about each player having their own line. Hell, Eric gave Kyle Flood an A+ in his recruiting's grading. I don't think Kyle Flood's ever done that in our recruiting rankings. And so, yeah, Brian Swanson, I love that he moved up in one sense, but it seems like he moved up because they moved his position. Yeah. So either way, this kid's an offensive tackle. He's gotten big. Listen, 2 years ago, he showed up on campus. He looked awful. He was the definition of bad weight. You know what he did? He busted his ass for 2 years. He got taller. He got stronger. He got better. He got more technical. He got more confident. That kid is an offensive tackle. It says interior lineman, but the Horns know what they got in Brian Swanson. And I'm just glad he finally committed because we were waiting for 6 months. So I'm glad that he went public with it about time.
Obviously,
I love me some Swanson.
Obviously, we pre-record a lot of commitment videos. Y'all seen it whenever we don't go live. There was one, it was waiting. It was collecting cobwebs for a couple months, digital cobwebs. Before I think we had to go back and do another one because it finally.
I think we did like 3 of them.
Yeah, it finally dated itself. So that was one. I think right after I put in an RPM, talked with you and Charlie and Eric, and even some of our guys at Rivals, it was just kind of like, all right, and now we wait. And we waited a while, but it finally ended up Texas. Jabarius Garor. He did more than drop just a little bit. In the previous Rivals 300, he was the number. Actually, again, I take it back. He was 283. He dropped to 284. So I don't know why Rivals maybe a little bit less enthused about him than 247 and ESPN. Maybe it's kind of being a tweener at 6'2", 215.
It's the tweener. It has to be the tweener.
But you know what? There's a spot in Texas defense for that guy.
Yes.
Trey Moore played it, and Trey Moore was a little bit taller. We're going to see Brad Spence play it. Brad Spence, I think, is about that height. There's a spot in Texas defense for someone who looks like that. And you know what? He's probably a little bit north of 6'2" at this point. So
he's a little taller than 6'2". When I saw him in April, I'm 6'1.5", and he cleared me by probably 3 inches. And so, and a lot of times, Joe, that's how we kind of measure these guys. It's kind of by our height, kind of get an idea. You know, we were talking about that earlier in one of our group chats. And so, but I think Gar, I think he's skinny. It's like Dre Quinn. Dre Quinn looked so much taller than he was, but I think it was because of how skinny he was.
Let me try.
I know he eats a lot of chicken, and he's gonna raise chicken, and he's gonna sell chicken, and he's gonna make that part of his brand, and I love it.
There are some places in Austin to make that happen. Last guy, he was the last player in the Rivals 300, 284. Do you want to take a quick browse through the state rankings? Let me see if I can. I'll pull that up real fast. I think I had mentioned that Jalen Brewster is remained number one, at least when it came to
I got a question for you. If John Meredith is playing his senior year at North Crowley, is he number one?
Is he? If he's,
I know he's not, but if he's playing his senior year in high school, if he's playing at North Crowley, is he the number one player in the state? Are they giving Brewster that because he's going to play this year and Meredith?
I don't think they've done that quite yet. I don't think they'll get to that point. I do think that if Meredith goes elsewhere to play his final season, if it's in another state, he'll be ranked in that state.
Yeah,
but. Yeah. We can run through this real fast. Brewster number one. I'm not going to argue with it. Meredith number 2, Kamara number 3, Jaquan Snell, Cooper Witten, Jaden Nelson.
I want to mention one thing real quick on Kamara. You know where it says NIL evaluation?
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that's way off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know
he will be the most expensive recruit in the class of 2027.
I know On 3 and Rivals changed some of their math on the NIL thing.
Oh, yeah. I think it's fascinating because I think it gives you a baseline to debate, to talk about things like that. But knowing what Kamara is getting, that buddy, it's another tax bracket.
Jaquan Snell,
Cooper Witten. I love Jaquan Snell. Man, I love Junior Tuiapo. I love Gideon went into Bama and got Tuiapo, but my goodness, Jaquan Snell was the take this year.
Cooper Witten, Jaden Nelson, man, Jalen.
Yeah. Jaden Nelson's a freak.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Lane Williams-Callis, we find our first uncommitted player. Texas and a lot of other schools playing the waiting game, but as you can tell,
I think he's just waiting for the right time to have a little ceremony.
Kennedy Brown, now ranked as an interior lineman.
Hey, they got it right.
Still,
he is an interior O-lineman.
Benny Easter. I'm a little bit surprised Texas didn't try to make some efforts with him, but there is a cost element to this.
I'll tell you. One part of the staff really liked him. The other part of the staff did not really like him, and so they were split.
Sarod Baker, watch A&M.
Ooh, what a call! Good call.
Still really
A&M, if they don't get LWC, they're going to knock on that door. And Sarod made a jump. Didn't he jump to number 72 overall?
Yeah, Sarod. That may be the jump. He went that may be the industry ranking on this. No. This is the Rivals. Yeah, he went from 169 to 72.
Yeah.
Keldred Ben.
That's overrated. That's a highly overrated.
Not someone I'm terribly familiar with, just because there was never much traction.
Good back, but not top 11 in the state.
Xavier Muhammad, the Michigan. That's a good eval, and that's from a high school that is not known for football in South Houston. I think that's kind of
a lot of football in South Houston. It's more baseball and basketball.
Oh no, that South Houston is it's technically its own city. That's I'm pretty sure it's just west of where Paul Wall grew up. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot more basketball and football than football. So it's an eight.
You're right. You're right.
I don't even know if
You're
it's
very
HIS.
right. Because you got Pasadena, you got Dobie, you got Webster, Clear Lake. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. You don't hear of a lot of prospects coming from South Houston High School. Kavian Bryant, number 1 quarterback in the state.
He's a good one.
He
should be his designation should be athlete. It shouldn't be quarterback.
Is basketball done?
Yeah.
Good for him.
That breaks my heart, dude. I loved watching him play basketball. I like watching that more than football.
Raiden Cook goes from, let me tell you, he stayed at number 99.
Raiden Cook goes from no stars to all the stars.
Yeah. And this was another good early eval from Rivals. Stayed at 99 from April.
Watch A&M and Tech. They're still working on him. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas is still trying to work on him. Raiden Cook's going to play in the NFL one day.
Hunter Hogg, good athlete. You keep going. Cam Hall, you get to him, number 16. Jerry Outhouse, good athlete, going to UCLA. Julian Caldwell, Tech, good job there. Josh Banks, Tech.
Banks, dude. Banks is better than this. I'll say this. Jerry Outhouse, great prospect. Joshua Banks will jump him at some point.
In your I think 20 is a good place to end it. In your conversations with EJ, you ever mention much about this kid?
Actually, no, but I got to hang out with him for a little bit at one of the Rivals camps back in the spring. Really smart kid, very insightful. I said, he was all standing on the side. I said, "You're not competing today?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't really need to compete. I'm just here for my teammates and my friends." And then that's when okay, you're probably 4-star above rated. But this was a kid that, Texas would love to have had this kid. If they could have gotten both these defensive guys from Langham Creek, you're looking at a number 1, number 2, potentially top class. And I think Ezekiel is a little underrated, actually. I think this kid's going to be really good. He's obviously got the bloodlines. He's obviously got the DNA, and he's got the size. I'm telling you, I'm curious to see how Langham Creek looks on the defensive side of the ball because they got some dudes this year.
I'll go to 20. Let's see. Kadrian Redmond, underrated.
I love some Big Juicy. I love Big Juicy. To me, I'm saying it so everyone has it documented, will be the best defensive tackle in this class.
These 3 right here, I feel like are hitting you right in the feels.
Oh. Wissington, great kid. If Notre Dame offers you and you're a running back, you better say yes. And Lathan knew that. And then Kadarius McMiller. If Oregon offers you at running back, you better commit. That's what Kadarius did. Both good early evals. Give Oregon a ton of credit. Give Rashad Samples a ton of credit. McMiller was all Texas. And when they made that running back coaching change, Samples pounced, smelled blood, and reeled him in. And you're talking about a gigantic 195. No, buddy. That's a 205, 210-pound kid right now running a 10.6. Or no, I'm sorry, 10.5. We'll be back on this Kadarius McMiller at some point. This one's going to sting.
George Toya. I don't think Texas was ever.
Is like this tall.
I don't think Texas was ever really involved.
They weren't.
Joshua
Villanelle is a kid we really like. We really like Josiah.
Well, his older brother.
Yes. Okay, so there were 2 of them.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think they're both going to K-State now, right? Is that?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Where's
the Texas program with him? There's our boy Sherrod.
I was going to say, where's the next Texas commit? And then we found
it. Sherrod. Then you got Peyton Miller.
It's always
good kid.
Fun.
It's going to be hard not to root for Peyton Miller. It's going to be hard not to.
Very, very talented group in state. Make sure you head to Inside Texas. Use that first link in our description, or use that QR code at the top left of the screen. Get Inside Texas for just $1, then 50% off your first year. Join now. You get all of camp, all of the season, all of Portal, basketball, baseball, all the recruiting there, spring visits, June visits, and then up to about this point next year, you're going to want to be a part of Inside Texas. So come check it out. Justin, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Recruiting Intel, the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel.